Hello my beautiful people, welcome to the next in the series of the signs of the zodiac with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share and hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, thank you so much for all of your support. It truly means the world. So with that said, today we are here to talk about Cancer. It's all about Cancer today, the cardinal water sign. So if you haven't seen any of the other series, any other parts of the series, I will explain. When you get a cardinal sign, you're looking at a sign that starts or begins, or you will find at the beginning of a season. So Cancer is the sign that kicks off summer, right? And that's why when we talk about cardinal signs, we're talking about a sign that is at the forefront or at the beginning in some way, shape or form. They have a tendency to forge ahead with things and go ahead, or rather reach for ideals that they can achieve in that kind of way. So we'll get into all of that, but yes, Cancer, the cardinal water sign. So Cancer's ruler, planetary aspect or ruler, is the moon, and like the moon, Cancer is very, very changeable in their moods, in their emotions, deeply intuitive. We'll talk about all of that. This here is the glyph for Cancer. A moment there. So this is the symbol that represents the sign, and this is the symbol that represents the planetary aspect. So as I always say in all of these videos, my opinion is just 1 in 7 billion. My astrological knowledge is not the most advanced. I'm just giving my unique perspective on what I see and feel when I think about specific signs. This is supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be informative, it's supposed to give you a different dimension, and also it's supposed to bring a different aspect of Radiant Reality to everybody that is one of my subscribers. So don't take this as absolute law and everything that I say must be accepted. You'll never be able to define a human being, you'll never be able to define a sign, much less a human being, within the space of 20 minutes. It's just not possible. All of us, even people that are, what we would consider just mundane, even those people are so much broader and complex than you can fit into any of these categories. This is just a look or an exploration, almost like an exploratory foray into a sign, if you like. So keep that in mind as we go forward. So Cancer being the cardinal sign, it's actually, in terms of its glyph, it's represented by, Cancer represents the crab. It rules the 4th house in astrology, in the zodiac. I'm not going to talk about the houses because I'm going to do those separately. So, this is, when we're talking about Cancer, we're talking about the cardinal water sign. It represents the crab. One of the reasons being is because when the sun gets into Cancer, it actually reaches its zenith. So rather than then continue to go on, it kind of just sidesteps into Leo as opposed to going up any further. So, in that way, it kind of moves sideways, kind of like a crab. And there's various other associations as well, like we'll see when you think about clingy or holding on to things, which is a Cancerian trait. So Cancers are warm, they are open, very interested in the domicile, in the home, in the wider, in their personal tribe. The understanding that we all do have a tribe, that we all have an origin, that the people that are in our origin or a part of our heritage are just as important as we are, and just as important as our future descendants, just as much so, in fact, as the wider world at large, right? And Cancer provides a protective environment. It's got that kind of influence. So I've split the characteristics and the expressions, I like to say, into the blessings and the lessons. And the reason being is because when you say to people, we're all, and I keep saying this, we're all so self-deprecating enough as it is. So when you say to people, these are the things that are negative about you, this is what's bad about you, we're already internalizing so much crap. So why add to that? So if I tell you what your blessings are, these are the things that are expressed to your highest potential, that come easy to you. The lessons are the traits that if you're unconscious, if you're unaware, these are some of the detrimental ways that that energy can express itself through you. And so this is just about highlighting all of these traits so that you can spot them and work with them or work at phasing them out for your best and highest good. And ultimately, if you change yourself, the world and everyone around you relates to you different, right? That's a big thing as well. Cancer loves connection, you know, connection to people, connection to their emotions, to other people's emotions. Cancerians, one of the original empaths of the zodiac, right? All of the water signs, deeply intuitive, deeply reflective, you know, very instinctual as well. When I think of Cancer, I really feel you know, very instinctual, because there's that protectiveness that comes from the motherly or nurturing or paternal even aspect to the Cancerian. And this is the thing, when people say Cancer, they very often go straight to, oh yeah, you know, it's just about the mother. Well, yes, okay, it represents the feminine aspect, but what about all the male Cancerians out there? I know all the Cancerian males that I've come across are deeply intuitive, some of them are very creative. A lot of them happen to be, you know, homebodies. They're more interested in their family and their home, and, you know, they don't really venture too much outside of that. Not all of them, you know, but as a generalization, which is what that is, you know, there's so much more to them. And even the male Cancers around you will have a protective and a nurturing or even paternal vibe about them. So your blessings, Cancer, and I'm a Cancer moon, by the way, so yeah. So sensitive, and one of the reasons that they are so empathic is because they are so sensitive, and that sensitivity breeds creativity, but it also breeds a real power of understanding. You will get a lot of understanding from, have I written that here? No, but it should be there. Understanding comes from that sensitivity. You know, they have a sensitivity to how they approach things, because they understand that what they say or how they behave might impact somebody else. Intuitive, deeply intuitive. I mean, a lot of people postulate that that Pisces is the most psychic sign, but I don't believe that. I actually believe that Cancer is the most psychic of the signs, and that's just my personal opinion, and it's not just because I'm a Cancer moon, before any of you start. But yeah, deeply intuitive, and that sensitivity is what kind of fosters that intuition, because it is a water sign as well, and it is linked to the moon. The moon itself it heightens our awareness to, you know, to what's happening in our body, in our physical self. You know, especially women, they sync up with the moon. There's that whole thing of being connected to the outside world through your feelings, and that's what I talk about when I talk about intuition. So nurturing, deeply nurturing, whether you're maternal, paternal, whether you're a man that's maternal, it has maternal sort of tendencies, whether you're a female that has paternal tendencies. It's all about nurturing. It's all about providing, you know, providing for a person, a project, a seed, your work environment. It's about providing the nourishment and the nurturing for you to grow and to effectively go on to become your best, right? Caring and kind, very caring and kind. These are things that you know, when you talk about caring and kind, these are things you really do attribute to a Cancerian. It's built into who they are. It's a natural attribute for them. Family and the tribe, absolutely, very family orientated. And even the ones of the Cancerians that you find that aren't really connected to their own family, they will go and adopt a family. They will build one around themselves and provide the framework, the network, even the glue, if you like. They would provide that, you know, for the group of people that they adopt as a family. Protective, you know, I talked about this. Parental instinct is protective naturally. I'll give you a little side story. And it's the first time in my life, like, my mum always used to say, like, oh, when you become a parent, you never sleep right again. And I was like, oh, okay, mum, all right. You know, because I couldn't understand it. And then one day I went on holiday to stay with some family over in Greece. And when I was there, one of my youngest cousins actually stepped on something. Now, my uncle was deep in sleep. He'd come in from a 12-hour shift, gone in and literally just crashed out. So he was out for the count. The second, and I mean the second he heard the baby cry, because he'd trodden on something and hurt his foot, the second he heard that child cry, he was up and out of the bed and straight out, and literally had the boy in his arms before any of us even had a chance to blink. And that's what we talk about when, you know, when you talk about protective, it's about creating that protective vibe. I will protect what is mine, who is mine, especially with a Cancerian. So deeply protective, and creating, you know, the womb. Women grow children, they go to the phase of the full moon. That womb is a protective space for you to grow and to become what it is that you may become in life, right? And then go on to be born. Understanding, yes, it is there. Understanding, and that understanding, I really believe, comes from the sensitive and the intuitive and the empathic side of them. When they say they understand, a Cancerian isn't just giving you lip service, they genuinely feel. And so that gives them the power to really understand what you're talking about, what you're trying to convey. Romantic, deeply romantic, loving, kind, sensual, sensuous, you know, all of that stuff, deeply connected to a partner. Very often they will intuit what's going on with a partner. You know, lots of Cancerians that I've spoken to are like, oh, you know, yeah, I'll already have the bath run because I'll know that they've had a bad day at work, or, you know, I'll already be making dinner because I know the kids are on their way home and it's ready as soon as they get through the door. You know, little things like that, and it really starts to show you like, oh, okay, that's what you mean by deeply connected or intuitive, and it's beautiful to watch. It really is. Ambitious as well. So yeah, Cancerians have this need to create stability around themselves, in difference to say like maybe like a Taurus or a Capricorn will seek the, you know, the big comfortable house because it's about the status and it's about the accumulation. The Cancerian will do it because that space, that security is what they use as their protective environment for the bigger world tribe, for the personal, you know, world tribe, so to speak. So yeah, very ambitious as well. When they really decide to go for something cardinal, you know, when they really decide to go for something and push for it, they can achieve quite a lot, actually. Providing they don't let everyone else's stuff get in the way. Security, this is again about the protective thing, you know, they seek that security, not just for others but also for themselves, and it really is important to them. You know, the crab retreats into its shell when it feels threatened, or, you know, so having that security and that protective environment, they can, you know, put up the walls and then shut everything out so that they can do their own healing. And it really is important for them, you know, because Cancer's like a Cancer and Pisces especially are like sponges, you know, so they kind of soak everything up, and they need somewhere that is safe for them to release everything that they've pulled in. Seeking and providing, seeking and providing, and finally creative, deeply creative, you know, and whatever way that comes in, for some people it will be you know, it would be the arts. I know one of my friends is a Cancer, and she's always doing crafts and stuff, you know, when the weather's bad here in the UK, which is often, you know, she'll have them doing crafts and, you know, reading books and playing games and imagining things. So really creative, you know, making things, almost making something out of nothing. So those are all the beautiful blessings of the Cancerian. And like I said, the lists go on, but I just haven't got the space here all the time in the video. So the lessons, ruthless. Now, anyone can attest that when your own parents are angry with you, whoo, they will, you know, I mean, damn, they can be ruthless. And also, that's in all aspects as well. So if somebody wrongs them, they tend to cling to that. You're right, you did me a wrong. And I already said this in the water and the air triplicity videos. If you haven't seen them, check them out. And I said you never want to be read by a water sign or an air sign, because the air signs will just go in and speak straight up facts to you, and they will tear you down with those facts. The water signs, ruthless, will go straight in for your emotions. They will see that chink in your armor with the intuition coupled with that ruthlessness, and they will ram that sharp rod straight home, and it can be very, very painful. So water signs, Cancerians, my lovely Cancerians, be aware of how much you can sometimes really hurt people with your words, and it's because you're going, you know, beyond anything else and going straight in for that soft squidgy bit. Resentful, you know, this is about, there's this thing about clinging to things that people, and you know, when you think about resent as well, so very often Cancerians are too giving. They will give and give and give, and they very often don't expect anything in return. But sometimes if they don't get something in return, or somebody hasn't quite figured out intuitively or been sensitive enough to get what it is that they're really asking for, they can get resentful. It's like, oh, well, I've done all of this and you still don't get that. All I need is that. Cancerians, speak up. Not everybody is deeply gifted or intuitive like you. Some people genuinely just miss the cue. If you ask for what you want or what you need, or you speak on that need, you're far more likely to get what you need, and ultimately it opens up so much more of a channel for that beautiful thing that you're seeking, connection. Clingy. The crab, right? It pincers, it holds on, it will hold on for dear life if it needs to, and with some cases as well, it will snap its own limb off, you know, and the pincer will still be there so that it can scurry away. But you know, it's self-damaging, right? It can be self-sabotaging in some way. So sometimes clingy is about letting things go. They find it hard to let things go because there's a tendency to really reflect or to look back over the past and hold on to it. That can cause stagnant emotions. So find a way to release what no longer serves or doesn't need to be there. As parents, or as anybody that is a child, you know, has a parent, can always think back to a time where they think, oh gosh, Mum, Dad, just back off, like give me some space. Smothering. Sometimes there's a tendency to go too far, to be too sort of like, oh, let me do this for you. And one of the reasons I say this to any of you that are parents, and you will have discovered this on your own, you don't need me to tell you, but sometimes if you see your kid fall over and you know it's not necessarily bad, you know that they haven't really hurt themselves, there's no broken bones or limbs or anything like that, it might be just a little graze or a little bump. If you rush over every single time and, oh, you know, comfort them, they'll never really learn to get past it. Whereas, you know, if it's not that bad, you can just look the other way and be like, I didn't see that. And then they kind of get up and totter about and go about their own business. Think about that, because that's what I mean with smothering. It can become a bit too much, and it's the same in relationships as well. You know, because they love that security and they love to know things and they've got that intuition. For them, they'll just kind of ride the same train for as long as it will go. But some people need more change than that. Some people need more evolution than that. Can become toxic through stagnation, and that's what I was talking about. Very much so. You know, when they hold on to things inside, that emotion congeals, it becomes really hard, and it stops allowing movement or freedom. Emotions are governed by water, right? Water needs to flow. If it sits still for too long, it becomes stagnant. So allow your emotions to flow. If you're feeling something and you feel it deep, even if it's hard, let it out. Find some way, find a creative way if you can, to get that emotion out so that it doesn't become stagnant. And I speak from personal experience. There have been things in my past that I have held on to for so long, and then when I let it go, I'm like, fucking hell. God, I was really carrying all of that around for so long, and once it's gone, you feel this absolute liberation. And I'm only a Cancerian moon. I think about the people that have got Cancer rising, or, you know, or even sun sign Cancer. Like this, I feel you, you know, I really feel you. Changeable and moody. Again, just like the sea or the ocean, it's very changeable. It's prone to, you know, like the moon, it's cyclical. There's peaks and there's troughs and everything in between. And sometimes their emotions can be a little bit turbulent for the people around them. And because your emotions as an empath will affect other people as well, it's about, unfortunately, one of the blessings and the lessons that you have to work with is that you, more than anybody else, need to be conscious of your emotional state because of the way that it affects everybody, including you. Needy and fears loneliness. One of the things about Cancerians is, when I say needy, it's not about like, oh, I need. It's more a case of, if there's too much quiet in the home, if there's no sort of babble, like very often there'll be the kind of people that will leave the TV or the radio on so that there's some sort of background noise, you know, or if there's nobody around, it's like, oh, nobody loves me, I'm here on my own. And it can be quite overwhelming for them. So learning to have that moment of being lonely, learning to have those moments where you are all right on your own. You don't need to be texting somebody or several people all at once. You can just be on your own and have some time and space. It actually helps with that stagnation of the emotions, because you can get it out in any way you please, laughing hysterically, crying like a crazy loony person, you know, running around the house shouting, laying in the bath drinking prosecco, whatever it is, right? But having that alone time gives you the space and the freedom to really get in touch with what you're actually feeling and find a healthy, positive way, a healthy, beneficial way for you to work through it and past what's going on for you. So reactive when not responsive. And it really is that. If they don't respond to things, like when they're collected, Cancerians can respond to everything. They can go into Superman and Superwoman mode. But when they're reactive, it's just like the thought processes shuts down. It's kind of like everything is just, you know, they go into what I would call Hulk mode, where they're just a raw nerve of emotion and everything is heightened in that, and it's like you know, I can't really give you a better experience than that. And yeah, you know, sometimes taking things too personally, you know, sometimes it's like, oh, I can't believe you said that, or I can't believe you said that about me. And it's like, no, it's not personal, it's just a statement. And if you take it on board and make it personal, it does become hurtful. And that's one of these things that feeds into this, you know, holding on or clinging to something, or you know, all of that. And then finally, to giving. As parents, as partners, as lovers, as friends, one of the unconscious traits is just to give and to give and to give. And then at the end of it, when they're completely burnt out and worn out and spent out, it's like, oh, you know, and what did I get for my trouble? Nothing. Look at where I am. And this is why building those barriers, getting in touch with your emotions, knowing more about yourself and what you actually feel, and when you are holding on to something, so that you can go, okay, I'm going to put that down now, and I'm going to continue forward how I am with, you know, with what's important at this moment in time, which is myself. You know, so this to giving thing, while it comes from a place of nobility, there is a bit of emotional manipulation in there, and there is also a little bit of what's the word? Not martyrdom, but, you know, maybe possibly even that. So that's something to consider. You know, and sometimes it's patronizing as well to say, oh, you know, I'll do this for you, I'll do that for you. You know, for what? You need to check your intention. Why are you doing that? Is it so that you can get some later benefit? Not saying that you're all like that, or we're all like that, but you know, it is a trait that can be there. So that to giving, it will either allow people to manipulate you or cause you to want to manipulate other people because of what you've done for them. So just keep an eye on that. So that is the Cancerian. I have to finish now because this is getting a really long video. They keep getting longer. I thought they were going to get shorter. So with that said, I wish you all an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance itself. Take care, and I'll see you very soon for the next in the series. I hope you've enjoyed it, you found it fun and informative. It really is my pleasure, and I really love doing these. So let me know what you think in the comments. Take care, and I'll see you soon.